What's up? Circulatory system, we're here to provide some great wisdom. It's actually a really simple concept, but don't worry, review the content. First things first, know the system's role. For you to be educated is our main goal. Transports oxygen, and glucose. I almost forgot, that was so close. It also defends against foreign bodies. These specific cells are called antibodies. Maintain pH levels and ionic fluids is how we survive. The animals called humans. Lastly is the transportation of waste. Files or organs to help eliminate. Ultimately, this system determines our fate. Totally the state and hard to contemplate.
Circulatory system, one of the main systems in the body, is also one of the most important. This system transports gases, mainly oxygen and carbon dioxide, between the body and the lungs. Along with these gases, the circulatory system also transports glucose and waste to be eliminated from the body. As you can see here, the circulatory system extends through all of our body, including our lungs and our head, arms, and trunk of our body. An example of this waste being eliminated is the blood being filtered through the glomerulus so that it can go through the nephron and choose whether to reabsorb the water and sodium back into the body system or allow it to be excreted as urine. Our blood contains cells that fight infections and defend against foreign bodies and maintains pH levels and the ionic concentration of fluids in the body. Besides all of these wonderful things that keep our body safe, our circulatory system also helps to maintain temperature, which is especially important in warm-blooded animals. What an amazing system!
There are two different types of circulation that work through the body in collaboration. You see there's open and then there's closed, and in the vessels blood stays enclosed. A heart is a pump that helps us survive, and with the help of circulation we can stay alive. Stay alive. What? Stay alive. With the help of circulation we can stay alive.
Very simple organisms, such as bacteria, use diffusion to transport materials rather than a circulatory system. This may not be as effective as a circulatory system, but is much faster and easier than using a circulatory system to transport materials. Now, there are two different types of circulatory systems, open and closed. In an open circulatory system, the blood is only partially constrained within a system of blood vessels. For example, as seen in lobsters, or like we see here with the grasshopper, the blood, or what they call the hemolymph, pumps from a heart or a heart-like organ through blood vessels into a system of sinuses or spongy cavities. As for a closed circulatory system, like in humans or the worm like you see here, the blood pumps from a heart and only goes through blood vessels as you see here, not into the squishy tissues like you see in the open circulatory system. The blood will not go outside of these vessels and can bring materials to tissues via diffusion across the walls of the blood vessels. But how do these blood vessels work? Tell them, Sarush.
There are 5 different vessels that help circulate. You can learn them quick because they all relate. The first and biggest are the arteries. I'll let Leah tell you about the properties. Arterioles are the next in line, which travel all the way up and down the spine. When the walls of arterioles become very thin, you can bet some capillaries lay within. Venules are the last type of vessel. Now Leah's gonna take it to a whole new level. Whole new level. Whole new level. Now Leah's gonna take it to a whole new level.
In a closed circulatory system, blood vessels form a closed circuit that carries blood through a never-ending cycle from the heart to the organs, tissues, and cells throughout the body and right back to the heart again. Some of these vessels are very well known, while some are more discreet. The blood vessels in our circulatory system are the arteries, the arterioles, the veins, the venules, and the capillaries. Arteries bring blood away from the heart under high pressure and lead into smaller, thinner tubes called arterioles. As the arterioles approach capillaries, the walls of the vessels become very thin. Out of all of the blood vessels, capillaries have the smallest diameter. These vessels connect the arterioles with the venules, which continue to form veins. Veins contain valves since the blood is going against gravity and needs an extra push so that it can't flow back down to the bottom of the body. And in turn, they bring the deoxygenated blood back to the heart so that the cycle can start all over again. Out of all of these blood vessels, capillaries do something very important, and Sohan will now embed that in your brain.
What's up? It's me again. You probably asking like where you been. I'ma talk about them capillary beds. When I finish, they'll be stuck in your heads. CO2, it gets exhaled. Stay focused, it's quite detailed. Capillary beds lie in the tissue. I told you this is an important issue. Gases are staying through diffusion. They climb me up on speed fusion. Don't worry if you're still confused. Listen to Street, you'll be amused. You'll be amused. You'll be amused. Listen to Street, you'll be amused. You'll be amused.
Capillaries, as we said before, are the thinnest blood vessels and the smallest, being microscopic. We can find capillary beds in each tissue, as you see here, like in the head and the forelimbs, in each lung, and also in the bottom half of our body, so that every tissue in our body can receive and give away the waste materials that they need to. They are needed in order to diffuse materials between the blood and the interstitial fluid. The capillaries contain precapillary sphincters, which are bands of smooth muscle that open and close the entrance to the capillary beds in order to control blood flow. Alright, now take a deep breath and exhale it. The capillaries are one of the main parts involved in taking each breath. When we inhale oxygen, it diffuses through the capillaries in the lungs and enters the red blood cells in our bodies so that they can be transferred through the body via the blood to all of the tissues. As for the carbon dioxide, it leaves the tissues in our body as waste product and travels through the circulatory system so that it can come back up through these red blood cells into the capillaries, into the lungs to be exhaled.